Have you ever noticed how some women seem untouched by time, carrying a glow that does not match their age? It feels like something more than just genetics is at work here. Something hidden, something mysterious, moving quietly beneath the surface of what we call aging. This is not about skincare routines or medical procedures. What we are about to explore is far deeper. It is a phenomenon that Carl Jung himself would have recognized. A truth that shows how the state of the soul directly shapes the expression of the body. What you are about to discover will challenge what you thought you knew about the connection between inner energy and outer appearance. The real secret is not in what these women do, but in what they carry within. It is a rare spiritual presence, an unseen energy that works like a protective shield against time. The erosive forces of time touch everyone, yet some women seem to resist its pull. By the end of this journey, you will see why certain souls remain luminous while others fade, and how this ancient wisdom can reshape your own view of aging. The mystery does not begin with the mirror, but with the inner light that shines from within. Carl Jung spoke of how the psyche influences the body. He knew that consciousness shapes reality in ways the modern world has forgotten. Some women carry a frequency, a vibration that stands outside the usual laws of time. Imagine a woman walking through a crowded room. She does not draw attention with effort or appearance, but with a presence that seems to bend light itself. Her face carries the marks of life, yet remains fresh and alive. Her eyes hold ancient wisdom, yet sparkle with the curiosity of a child. This is the luminous feminine, the woman whose soul keeps her young. Jung explained this through individuation, the integration of the unconscious and the conscious mind, creating inner wholeness. Women who walk this path often see their outer form reflect their inner growth. They carry what Jung described as the eternal aspect of the feminine, a timeless essence beyond biological age. Within them flows what he called the anima mundi, the soul of the world, connecting all living beings through unseen threads. These women align themselves with this greater rhythm, allowing their personal life to move with something vast and eternal. This alignment creates what mystics have always spoken of. Time bends around consciousness, and consciousness shapes the kai, body that holds it. Such women share a golden thread that runs through their life like light woven into dark fabric. They transform suffering into wisdom, without letting bitterness harden their hearts. While others grow heavy with disappointment, they discover the rare ability to turn pain into luminous insight. Think of a woman who has endured great loss, yet still carries softness in her face. She has not escaped hardship, but instead embraced it with what Jung called active imagination, the ability to work creatively with the depths of her unconscious. Mind-transformative inner work protects the soul and body from the toxins of the psyche that often show up as early aging. The ancient Greeks spoke of two forms of time, chronos and kairos. Chronos is linear, mechanical, the steady march of seconds that most people surrender to. Kairos, on the other hand, is sacred time, the eternal now, where transformation becomes possible. Women who remain mysteriously youthful have learned to live mostly in kairos, stepping into chronos only when needed, never allowing it to define who they are. This path begins with what Jung called the encounter with the shadow, the hidden aspects of ourselves we prefer to deny. Most people waste tremendous energy fighting these darker parts, and that inner battle eventually shows on the face, in the posture, and in the overall energy they carry. The luminous woman, however, makes peace with her shadow. She integrates it consciously instead of fighting it unconsciously. This integration creates what ancient alchemists described as the philosopher's stone, a state of inner wholeness that radiates outward. When internal conflicts stop draining life energy, that same energy becomes free for renewal and regeneration. The face softens into natural beauty. The eyes shine free of the fog of struggle. The posture grows tall with true confidence. Yet there is something even deeper at work here, something that touches the very nature of time itself. Jung understood that the psyche follows its own laws of time. He called this synchronicity, meaningful, coincidences that reveal a reality beyond linear cause and effect. Women with this rare spiritual trait seem to exist partly outside of ordinary time. They have developed what Jung called the observing ego, a part of consciousness that watches life without becoming trapped in it. This allows them to witness their own aging without being consumed by it. That distance acts like a protective shield, paradoxically slowing the process they observe. They age as participants, not as victims. Through this, they access what Jung named the transcendent function, the bridge between the conscious and unconscious that makes real transformation possible. This creates a kind of temporal bubble around them, a space where the normal rules of aging bend. Yes, they grow older, but in harmony with the rhythm of the soul rather than the relentless ticking of the clock. You may have met women like this. Women with an ageless presence that makes you wonder about their true age. They carry themselves with grace, showing the results of deep inner work. Their wounds have been turned into strength instead of emptiness. Their laughter rises from the depths. Their silences carry profound peace. Their very presence feels like a mystery you long to explore. Modern science is only now confirming what Jung sensed long ago. Research in epigenetics reveals that emotional states directly affect gene expression. Chronic stress speeds up cellular aging, while states of inner calm and peace have the power to slow it down. Joy and peace have regenerative power. The telomeres, at the ends of our chromosomes, those tiny biological clocks that measure the lifespan of cells, respond directly to our inner state of mind. What Jung called the collective unconscious gives luminous women access to a vast reservoir of renewal. They draw on archetypal energies that have carried the feminine principle through thousands of years, tapping into patterns of regeneration that rise above individual experience. This connection to higher sources of vitality creates what can be
called biological grace, where the body renews itself more effectively.
Women who maintain what Jung described as a vital connection with the self, the archetype of wholeness and meaning, show measurable signs of slower aging. Their cortisol remains balanced. Their inflammation stays under control. Their cellular repair systems function at their best. The peace of the soul literally protects the youth of the body. This is not wishful thinking or fantasy. It is the recognition of a deep connection between consciousness and physical reality, something Jung dedicated his life to exploring. He knew that the psyche and the body are not separate, but two sides of the same whole. A transformation in one always affects the other. Jung observed that certain individuals develop what he called a religious function. This is not necessarily tied to organized religion, but to a sense of sacredness that touches daily life. Women who embody this treat their bodies as sacred vessels of consciousness. This reverent relationship with their physical form creates a protective field around the aging process, operating at levels far beyond ordinary perception. The luminous woman has also mastered what Jung referred to as the art of letting die, the ability to release what no longer serves her, instead of holding on to patterns just because they are familiar. She understands that each stage of life requires a kind of death and rebirth. She faces these transitions with acceptance and grace, rather than fear and resistance. Where others collect heavy baggage that shows in their faces as lines of worry and shadows of bitterness, she practices the art of conscious release. She carries only what supports her soul's evolution, letting go of the rest. This lightness not only preserves her radiance, but also deepens it. Her practice of release extends to the expectations of others and the roles society assigns to women at different ages. Jung spoke of the persona, the social mask we wear, and how clinging too tightly to these roles can trap us in limiting patterns. The luminous woman wears her personas lightly, like clothes for a season, changing them when the time calls. Deep. Within her psyche lives what Jung described as the autonomous complex of the eternal feminine. This inner principle works beyond conscious control, guiding her highest growth. It acts as a guardian of her essential nature, preventing her from becoming rigid or disconnected from the regenerative cycles of her being. This is why she does not lose her natural essence while others often grow hardened by time. She does not live according to rigid, masculine, linear time. Instead, she has discovered what Jung called the transcendent function, the psychological power that makes space for new possibilities beyond the clash of opposites. She is not trapped between youth and age, beauty and decay, relevance and irrelevance. She has found a third way, a path that rises above these struggles. In her presence, you sense someone who has befriended time instead of treating it as an enemy. She does not fight aging, she dances with it. Her outer form changes, yet her inner core remains touched by eternity. This graceful relationship with time creates a field around her, one that frees others from their own anxiety about aging. Jung would have seen in her the archetype of the wise woman, not the traditional crone of old myths, but a figure of timeless wisdom who remains vibrantly alive. She has touched the collective unconscious in ways that connect her to the eternal feminine, the divine principle of endless renewal. Through what Jung described as the compensatory function of the unconscious, these women balance the ego's rigidity with the fluid and adaptive nature of deeper psychic forces. Their unconscious sends them dreams, insights, and intuitions that keep them aligned with their true path, protecting them from the stagnation that often accelerates aging. What makes these women luminous is not a single trait, but the integration of many Jungian principles working together. They have achieved the union of opposites, balancing masculine and feminine energies, integrating light with shadow, embracing both strength and vulnerability. This inner marriage creates a psychological alchemy that transforms their entire being. Their faces themselves become symbols of wholeness, what Jung described as living mandalas. Their symmetry does not come from mere genetics, but from inner balance, shaped by conscious work. The light in their eyes reflects the integration of every part of their personality into harmony. You see this most clearly in their relationship with suffering. Where others allow pain to harden into bitterness, these women take a different path. They embody what Jung called a religious attitude toward psychological experience. The understanding that every wound carries the seed of its own healing. Every crisis holds the potential for deeper awareness. The luminous woman has developed what Jung described as differentiated feeling, the ability to recognize which emotions support growth and which only repeat cycles of suffering. She feels deeply without being consumed. She grieves fully without being lost in despair. She rages honestly without leaving behind a residue of poison. This emotional wisdom prevents the inner fires of inflammation that modern science now links to accelerated aging. It does not mean she avoids suffering or denies its existence. Instead, she has cultivated the capacity Jung believed essential for transformation, to face pain directly while allowing it to become a source of renewal. Holding the tension of opposites, the ability to stay present with difficulty without rushing toward escape or resolution, is a rare psychological strength. It protects against the fragmentation of energy that often accelerates aging. Women who embody this capacity train their nervous systems to remain calm even in stress. They maintain what modern researchers call coherent heart rhythm variability. This state of physiological coherence, achieved through emotional balance and conscious breathing, supports hormonal stability, strong immunity, and cellular renewal. The soul's peace truly becomes medicine for the body, but perhaps their most striking quality lies in their relationship with the future. While many cling to youth or fear the passing years, these women have developed what Jung called perspective thinking, the ability to see each moment as full of potential for growth and transformation. They live with anticipation of becoming, not nostalgia for what has been. This forward-looking vision creates a field of possibility around them. Life itself seems to respond. sending them relationships and experiences that support their evolution. Jung would have called this synchronicity in action. Their faces reflect this openness. Instead of fixed expressions formed by resignation, they show fluid features, eyes alive with curiosity, faces ready for infinite expression. Jung's vision of the unus mundus, the unified reality beneath all things, reveals itself in their very cells. They embody the union of the microcosm and macrocosm, aligning their personal growth with the vast cycles of nature. Their aging process synchronizes with eternal rhythms of renewal. This spiritual trait is about more than personal work. It is about relationship with the archetypes Jung described, the universal patterns of human experience. These women consciously draw on these energies, using them for guidance and renewal. In their presence, you sense more than their personal history. It feels as if they carry the wisdom of countless women before them, giving them a timeless authority, far beyond chronological age. Their laughter carries echoes of the eternal feminine principle. Their voice feels larger than one individual, as if the divine feminine itself speaks through them. This channeling of archetypal energy requires what Jung called a permeable ego, a self strong enough to remain whole, yet open enough to receive transpersonal influence. Once achieved, it produces a radiance that shines from beyond personal limits. What emerges is what Jung recognized as the conjunctio, the mystical marriage of conscious and unconscious, masculine and feminine, temporal and eternal. This inner wedding creates what alchemists described as the philosopher's child, a renewed self carrying both wisdom and wonder. The face becomes a living testimony of harmony, showing the beauty of opposites resolved. Such women live what Jung called a symbolic life. They see every experience as carrying meaning beyond its surface. This protects them from the emptiness that drains vitality and accelerates aging. Their daily acts become rituals of renewal. Their relationships become mirrors of growth. Their struggles transform into opportunities for deeper awareness. Nothing is wasted. Every moment fuels their evolution. Jung believed the psyche contains a natural healing function, an inner drive toward wholeness beyond conscious control. In luminous women, this function is awakened and sustained. It creates a process of continuous renewal from within, transforming not just the way they look, but the way they exist in their physical form. As we reach the end of this exploration, consider what this means. The fountain of youth is not a mythical spring hidden far away. It is a psychological state available to anyone willing to walk the path of integration and individuation that Jung described. These women have not found a secret formula. They have simply learned to live in harmony with the deeper currents of their psyche, to engage consciously with archetypal forces, and to nurture their connection with the transcendent dimension of existence. Their youthful glow is not a denial of age, but the expression of psychological maturity. Their inner wholeness shines outward, giving their bodies a radiance that feels timeless. They have achieved what the alchemists called the opus contra naturam, the work against nature that paradoxically reveals true nature. In their presence, you glimpse what humanity itself might become when it learns to live consciously with the forces Jung spent his life studying. These women represent more than personal triumph. They embody collective possibility. They suggest that the evolution of human consciousness may be reflected in the evolution of our very bodies. And the rare spiritual trait they carry is not reserved for them alone. It is a path open to all of us. All that is required is the courage to begin the inner journey Jung called individuation. This means the willingness to face our shadows, to embrace our light, and to bring both into harmony. It means choosing to live consciously, not mechanically. The soul that commits to this path discovers its own timeless essence. And once that essence is uncovered, everything changes, including the way we age. If something in this exploration has spoken to you, or if you feel inspired to begin your own journey of conscious aging, we invite you to become part of this shared exploration. Subscribe to our channel, and in the comments share what touched you most deeply. Tell us which qualities of this rare spiritual trait you feel ready to nurture in your own life. Your reflections add to our collective understanding of how consciousness shapes reality, how the state of the soul influences the expression of the body. Together, we are reclaiming the ancient wisdom that Jung helped bring into the modern world. The recognition that true youth does not come from external sources, but flows from the eternal wellspring of the integrated self.